Says, hi guys, learning so much and appreciate the info. Have old video games I'd like to sell to start with. Do you resurface all your discs or sell as is? Should I invest in a resurfacer? So many questions. Keep them coming, Nicole. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Let's go, Cernoch.
All right. So this is what. So this is kind of this question is a good question, but it kind of like dives into some things with like newer resellers. So I'm gonna attack it that way. You know, you gotta find what like your old video games. What are they worth? If you come across a ton of like valuable games that need resurfacing, and that's something that if you invest in it, you're going to be able to pay for it. Absolutely, yes. Go ahead and do that. But I'll tell you this: those disc resurfacers, the good ones, can be expensive. So make sure it's going to be worth your time, your investment into the equipment, and what's the turnaround going to be? How are you going to be able to list it? If you have a bunch of if you have $10,000 worth of video games that just need to be resurfaced, it might be worth purchasing one of those for $700 to $1,000 to resurface the games. But if this is something that you're just getting into, I'll tell you this: disc resurfacers, there's good ones, but the cheap ones are super, super bad. All I know is the people that have done it, you need to get the high end ones. The high end ones work. The low end ones don't. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna flip the script on that a little bit. I do not do video games. Never done video games, but on the aspect of should I clean something just in general, if you think that you can get a few more dollars for it, or it just needs a little bit of cleaning, then I definitely think that you should clean it and get it fixed. And we're probably going to be doing something on that, each of us, on things we use. We might have it in the description. So please look forward to seeing that in the future of things that we use to clean stuff. So on my end of it, I think that if you think it's a quick fix and a quick clean, then I definitely think that you should clean the item. I know it's not with the disc, but that's how I look at it, as cleaning in a hole.
Tim.
I mean, I'm just going to tell you right out the gate. I don't think it's a good idea. No, I would. To me, it's just like, unless you are a video game connoisseur, video game seller, like, then yes, like you would want to have a resurfacer. You'll want to have like a system that you hold in your place of operation so that you can test games. But like if you're just a casual reseller, or a reseller like me that sells everything, then it's a bit hard to make that investment. And I think Cernoch brought up a great point about like the differences between the resurfacers, because yes, I mean, if you're a full-time reseller, then you buy that surfacer, yeah, you could write it off. I mean, that's something that you can kind of look at too. But it's just like, for me, it's about like Cernoch hit it so perfect about the time, the money, like if you think you're going to get an ROI on buying that for your business, then yes, it makes sense. But if you just have a bunch of old video games that you want to sell, then I wouldn't take the time to resurface them. I mean, 9 out of 10 times, maybe that's a bit of a crazy number, but I just say a lot of times people who are buying these video games themselves already have a resurface probably. A lot of people that buy these video games are collectors, are video game enthusiasts, are video game resellers themselves. So they'll buy these discs and take care of that themselves. So it's not something you should feel obligated to do. I don't know if they are, like, if you came across a crazy valuable game, or I don't know if there's a service out there that maybe you can just get it done, individually whenever you come across a very expensive game that needs to be resurfaced. But to me, I think you can spend your money better for your business than to buy a resurfacer, especially with like the way that people are like going goo goo gaga, out there sourcing for yard sales for video games.
Jeez. Sorry. Yeah. Absolutely. I actually answered this question in chat for her as well, but I wanted to bring it for everybody in case you're not reading the comments. you know, what they've said, like dittos all the way around. One of the things I did suggest to her is there are ways, if it's a scratch disc and the game is decent enough, like you could either I've actually used this. It works. It sounds weird, but deodorant works on a scratch disc. If it's a minor scratch, if it's a deep scratch, it's pretty much toast. But like you can actually put deodorant because a laser reader is just going to read the disc, and if there's a gap in that laser read, it'll skip it. But like I've played games that I fixed with deodorant. Um, it's not every kind of deodorant. It's like you got to leave it on there, let it dry, and then kind of skim it off a little bit. There's YouTube videos about it. Unfortunately, I don't have one, but I would just, if you're brand new, pick out the ones that are going to sell the fastest for one, and the ones that are going to sell for the most money. And sometimes you can sell the cases, you can sell the manuals, you can sell other things out of that, or you can even sell it as a scratch disc, like the disc is scratch, and sell it that way. And then those guys that have the resurfacers, if it's good enough game, they'll buy it anyway. It's one of those things, but otherwise don't waste your time. I know guys who have bought resurfacers and the big ones, and they say it's such a time suck for one thing to do it. And also it's extremely messy, and the chemicals you have to keep buying. Like you can't just say, okay, I got a disc resurfacer, I'm good. Like there's other components to that. So unless you're doing it full time, you're all about the media, probably not a good investment.
And once again, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to hit the bell. Don't forget to tell a friend about RIN Reseller Information Network.